In this episode of What's in My Pocket, because you guys are always, you don't carry that much, you don't do this, so you don't actually use that. Well, this time around, it's everything I actually carry when I'm out and about trying to get some work done, and it all revolves around this mini guy. Mainly responding to all your comments about how I don't actually carry that much. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. I'll be sharing some of my favorite classes later, but they're offering the first 500 people that click the first link in the description 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free. So let's check it out. That was the actual iPad. Leaving the studio is hard, but when I do, this is what I take along with me. Starting with my main camera, strapped to my hip, and a sling bag, recently being the Dispatch waist bag. All thanks to its tiny footprint and smart pocket system, and my outfit usually just a hoodie and my favorite pair of overalls from Under Armour, their Pursuit bib. It's got pockets galore and fleece line to keep me cozy throughout those chilly spring days without the need of a jacket on top. Plus, if you hate carrying a camera because it's always swinging around like I do, my holster system allows me to quickly access to shoot what I need, then storing it securely without it flailing all over the place. So starting with the actual goods, genuinely found in my pants pocket, my phone of choice at the moment, the iPhone XS Max. Stored safely inside one of my favorite clear cases, the Catalyst Impact Protection Case. The flat and matte finish edges help with grasping such a large phone. While I don't care much for the clear backing, I do really love the minimal design of the case. And most important, although so slim, packs some serious impact protection thanks to the Impact Truss system. This pattern of triangles along the inner edge, which I've personally tested in my past life and can confidently say I trust my precious baby with. If you're an extra klutz, there's even a slot to attach a lanyard, which is included, but I'm not that bad with my phones, although it may look that way. Even cooler, their mute rocker is their signature spinny thing. Completely covered, it makes for a very annoying fidget toy for everyone else around you. Buttons are flush but textured and clicky, and proper cutouts for the rest of the phone. Now, as slim as the case is, my hands still have trouble reaching around. That's where the infamous pop socket comes in handy. This grip pops open, allowing your fingers to actually grasp onto something securely, allowing you to scroll, shoot, or type one-handed, or having to stretch to swipe right on every girl you come by. The sticky back isn't permanent, but does a damn good job staying on through any spaz attack. Finally, you can also angle it, and kablam! It doubles as a stand. Triple win. If there's one thing you need at this moment, it's to pop this open and closed until someone around you gets super annoyed. Under that, and what it's actually attached to though, is the pop socket pop wallet. Basically 2 pieces of plastic attached with some stretchy elastic cloth. This holds my main cards, credit, debit, and ID. Oh, and also some cash, in case I visit a prehistoric grocery store without a debit machine. It easily holds my 3 cards, but can definitely do more without an issue. Cards are completely hidden, so you wouldn't even know it's a wallet until I pop it through the bottom to easily access all my go-to cards. It doesn't end there though, it's also removable. When you get home and want to slim down, slide it off and you're bulk free. Or if you're one of those people, they'll also allow you access to slow charge. Yuck. Next up, my keys attached to my favorite key organizer, the Key Smart Pro, but even better now, in all black. For anyone that's living in 2018 and have not seen me talk about this consists of 2 screws that you attach your keys onto, you swivel things out to use, and then back to keep it all neatly stored and jingle free. Inside its shell, it's even got a built-in light for those dark and scary nights you aren't able to find the hole, if you know what I mean. Super handy and has saved me many nights from raging at my doorknob. That's not all, it's even got a towel tracker built into this little guy. Double click and ding ding, there's my phone. Vice versa, if you have no idea where your keys are, well Joseph, no need to ask your mom anymore, just ring it from your phone. Unlike other tile trackers though, you don't have to worry about batteries. It charges through micro USB. In that same pocket, my wallet for all my other cards I can't live without but don't need instantly, all stored inside my current wallet. I'm digging the Trebax Contour. And yes, that's a custom engraving of my name and it's sick. These guys are made in the US of A and consist of a stainless steel frame with a thick leather strap. 2 of my favorite things combined. It feels badass in the hand, looks like an industrial tool, but is fairly slim while being able to accommodate up to 13 cards. It keeps everything in with a button-like snap and you're able to slide cards in and out with ease. Now this one's fairly new, but the leather will loosen and patina with usage, giving it a wicked worn-in tool look. Everything is secured when shut closed, and the strap even forms an extra pocket for quick access cards or even cash. The button snap can adjust how tight you want the strap to be depending on how many cards you carry, so it won't open randomly on you. And this thing just feels like a tank in your hand. It could almost double as a self-defense tool by throwing this at your opponent's ear or something. The frame also has a bottle opener built in, because is it really EDC if it didn't have one? Finally, with that little hole in the corner, you can chain it to your belt, but you can also attach your keys to it with a carabiner, keeping everything together so you never lose it. And bonus points, when you ping the tile, you'll also be able to find your wallet and keys at the same time. Moving up top, I always have a mini notebook on me, and I carry it with my Bellroy mini notebook cover with a Field Notes dotted grid layout. Combine that with, of course, my favorite pen, the Fisher Space Bullet Pen in that smexy ass matte black finish. When closed, it's the size of my finger, but popped open, it becomes a full-size pen. It's comfortable to hold, with a pressurized cartridge means you can even write upside down, and with just an indestructible build. The compact size makes it super portable, and I clip it to the spine of the cover to always have it on hand. The Bellroy notebook cover is worth a look too, with this beautiful all-leather design. It's got a really light magnetic snap closure, just enough to keep it from flying open all the time, with one side for the notebook and the other organized with 2 card slots, and an extra stash pocket I use for receipts, coupons, and other probably useless papers. Mine's worn in over the months I've used it, but it still looks almost new and pristine. Look, I get it, it's just a notebook cover, but you're paying for quality here, and that's exactly what you're getting. It easily fits into any pocket, so I have no reason not to have a notebook on me at all times. You just never know when an idea may hit you. This allows me to always be prepared for when it does. Jumping to the wrist, something I wear on the daily, my Apple Watch Series 4 with cellular connection. I sport it with the classic Nike silicone strap, which I love, and connected to it, the Alago AirPods wrist fit. I know, it's confusing and sort of silly when you first see it. It's just a single piece of flexible rubber that sort of looks like Frogger, but in actual usage, comes in surprisingly handy for any AirPods user, because when you're done using your AirPods and you know you'll need them shortly, this comes in very handy. Basically, you can store your AirPods straight onto your watch. Again, I know you're wondering why. Well, if you don't have any pockets on you to hold your carrying case, this is a lifesaver. Just strap it in when you're done with them, and they easily pop back out when you need it again. It'll always be in the place you left them. If you have a habit of just taking your AirPods off anyways, being able to store it somewhere safe means you won't need to buy that third pair of AirPods to replace your lost ones again. This holds it in tightly, and although exposed to the wild, you at least know where they are at all times. Plus, if you're really hip and have tiny fingers, yes, you can even use it as a ring holder and be the coolest adult in the room when you show this sucker off.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor today, Skillshare, an online learning community for creators with more than 25,000 courses in design, business, anything creative you could think of, they probably have a course on. A premium membership gives you unlimited access to all their classes and communities for new skills you may want to learn this year. Whether it's for your personal or professional life, Skillshare is the perfect place that'll actually help you hit those New Year's goals. It's also just really affordable. An annual subscription comes down to less than $10 a month. I'm completely new to the business entrepreneur world, so I'm always trying different things to see what works and what doesn't. So being able to learn from people who've gone through it themselves helps me in my direction in learning what I should aim for, what works, and what doesn't. I've gone through a few courses already, and each has given me a different takeaway. A personal favorite for anyone just starting out on their own is the Going Freelance course by Working Not Working. They break down the steps you should take, along with showcasing real-world portfolios of other great artists out on their own. So what are you waiting for? Join more than 7 million other creators learning with Skillshare with the first link down below. And the first 500 of you to do so will get 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free. So back to the video.
But now let's talk sling bag. This is a dispatch waist bag, and I love it mainly for its slim and flat design. It's got a main zipper straight through the top that gives you access to 2 large pockets divided up by a slightly padded panel. The back one having additional padding from the back side of the bag, while the front one that's just as wide is slightly more spacious, albeit still quite skinny. So starting with my main productivity machine, the iPad Mini 5, Apple's latest in the mini series, and I've opted for the built-in cellular as well. It's honestly the perfect size for content consumption, but also enough to get shit done. I can easily palm the whole thing one-handed, which is key as I never feel like it's a hassle to carry with me no matter where I go. Combine that with the Apple Smart Cover, not only keeps the screen covered up, but is the best option for propping the iPad up for a hands-free experience. The Smart Cover allows you to work productively, but also consume content comfortably. The next main reason I love the new Mini though, Apple Pencil support. Although only with the first generation, it's more than enough for what I need, and I pair it with the MoxieWear magnet pencil case. Yes, it literally is just a roll of heat shrink tubing that wraps a magnet in the middle. It slides right onto the pencil, but does offer a smooth matte finish, which I prefer over the oily glossy finish of the pencil itself. There's no doubt the Apple Pencil is hands down the best stylus to use on an iPad, and I use it to storyboard, sketch, and just mind dump ideas. And the magnet portion helps me keep the pencil nearby at all times. You'd be surprised how strong it is, keeping it in place through some rough shakedowns. Now my case of choice doesn't fit exactly perfect, but it's the best option in my opinion. This is the official Apple silicone case, but for the iPad Mini 4. This means some cutouts may not align exactly with the 5. Although the camera is still usable, I don't really care because I've never used the iPad camera on all the iPads I've ever owned. The volume buttons are slightly off as well, but they still work. But most importantly, the headphone jack fits spot on along with the lightning port underneath. Now if you didn't see that camera cutout, it's a match made for each other. The silicone case itself is slim, barely adding any girth to the iPad, and it feels grippy to hold, which is the sole reason I picked it up, along with that beautiful Apple logo around back. Finally, most of you may write off the Mini as a budget device, but in reality, it does everything I need to do to run my business. Multitasking is a blessing even on a small screen like this, and having a cellular data connection means I can work anywhere and not have to rely on a Wi-Fi connection. Now, the one aspect it does lack in is the keyboard. That's where the Logitech Keys to Go comes in. This waterproof keyboard is very thin, has quite a squishy keyboard that I'm still getting used to, but offers a row of dedicated iPad shortcuts and is the thinnest keyboard you'll ever encounter, making it super easy to bring around with you. Combined with that smart cover, it completes my mobile office and gives me that laptop-like experience when I need to script videos, reply to emails, or just research new products. It allows me to transition quickly from typing to sketching. Since the keyboard's so thin, I just lay it right on top. Then I can transition back to typing with a quick flip. The best part is when you're done and carrying both, you almost forget you're even holding a keyboard since it sits flush with the iPad and takes up little to no room in the hand. Now, the Apple Store model does come with a built-in stand. If you aren't rich enough to afford the smart cover, you can easily prop up your iPad with this instead and have a just as productive workday. It holds your iPad securely and doesn't fall over easily in usage, and you can still transition between handheld and typing in one swift motion. Although I will warn you now, it's not the best setup for typing on your lap. You will have to adjust a few things to get it to work there, but that's why I love the mini size. You can still hold it handheld, although much slower. You can get pretty thumb crazy typing too, as it feels like you're typing on a large iPhone. And finally, you can even leave the stand connected on the keyboard when you're done. I also wasn't kidding about the waterproofing. It's one less thing to worry about, but just keep the open micro USB charging port in mind. This next one is a new addition to my workflow, the DJI Osmo Pocket. It's a tiny camera with a built-in gimbal that, well, as the name suggests, can fit inside your pocket. They're not wrong either. This thing is like half the size of a Kit Kat bar and does an amazing job at stabilizing your movements. Although there is a screen built in, I like to use it plugged in to document myself and thoughts that I have, like a personal mini vlog for my future self to look back on. But it really does shine when used handheld. It's also super pocketable and very tiny. It fits in the palm of my hand and it's very inconspicuous, so you're not holding this huge camera out in public and feeling super self-conscious about people staring at you. You are still talking to yourself in public though, but at least people don't think you're some obnoxious vlogger or something. They just think you're a crazy person. It comes with a hard shell case to keep the lens and gimbal in one piece, and I highly recommend this for anyone with shaky hands or just wants a better camera over their phones without having to carry around a huge DSLR. Lastly, in that main compartment, a large moleskin hardcover with a squared grid we'll check out later in detail. But for now, let's focus on that front flap though. Held in closed with two magnetic fidlock clasps, they easily unlock by pulling down while they lock back in place by simply letting the magnets make love together. Thanks to the 2 points of contact though, simply unlocking one gives you access to one side while unlocking the other does the same on the opposite end. So starting with my external battery, this is the Mophie PowerStation Plus XL with that smooth fabric finish. Storing about 10,000 milliamps of battery, it still fits in the palm of my hand. It charges through micro USB and has a single output USB, but what makes it special is the integrated cable along the edges. Just another reason a removable wallet is fancied. Charging up your iPhone means you no longer have to deal with long tangling cables. Instead, it sits flush with your iPhone and you can continue to use it like you usually would. When done, simply slot it back into the battery and you're cable free. It starts out as a lightning cable but can also be converted to a micro USB tip. Plus, as a little extra gimmick, the charger can charge itself wirelessly too. Not something I ever do personally, but it's there if you dig it. Now for the rest of my electronics though, I have a chiffon multi-cable, a single USB on one end with lightning, USB-C, and micro USB on the other. If it joins forces with my Mophie, it charges my AirPods, DJI Pocket, and even keyboard all at the same time if need be. Even if I only need one at a time, this saves me from carrying 3 different cables around. Now these front pockets are divided into 2 slots as well, with the front portion being quite spacious, so that's where I store my Apple AirPods, stuffed inside the beautiful Nomad rugged case made of some fine Horween leather. Along with these AHA style silicone ear hooks, for you fellow non-conforming ears, you'll understand the struggle. But it's worth the struggle for how easy these are to pair with both my iPhone and iPad, and although an extra step to using them, you do get used to putting these on after a while. You still get that Apple fanboy look, even if you have a larger right ear hole than your left. Yes, it's also a slight hassle when you're done and having to remove the tips before storing them, but hey, we can't all have perfect Apple-sized ears. Compromises have to be made. In that same spacious pocket, another essential iPad accessory, the new SwiftPoint Pro Point mouse. Yes, an actual mouse, but like really small. And yes, again, it can work with your iPad with the right app. In this case, the Jump desktop software, which allows you to remotely connect to your actual desktop, and the Pro Point acts like an actual desktop mouse now. Combined with the keyboard too and very minimal latency, you can still get some real work done if need be on the go. It's got a scroll wheel, left and right click, and the updated model has a center click too. Although pretty tiny, me, it claims to actually be more ergonomic than a mouse, and while I don't completely agree, it definitely isn't uncomfortable to use whatsoever either. Plus, I prefer the tiny size as it's very convenient to carry around in any bag. Finally, in what feels like an endless pocket, I've got the Apple AV and SD card adapters. Pretty self-explanatory, but I think two adapters that are essential iPad accessories if it's your main workstation. My favorite goes to the AV adapter though. Combine that with the mobile setup of a keyboard and mouse, plugged into a full screen monitor, you're basically running a full Windows experience through your iPad and on a full screen. That's both a mouse and keyboard fully supported through the Jump desktop app with your screen displayed in full ratio. With a good enough connection, you can even do light edits in Premiere Pro anywhere you have your iPad with you. And finally, the adapter has a lightning port too, as running an external display does drain your batteries quite a bit. Next, the SD card adapter itself is again self-explanatory. When I'm done shooting with the DJI Osmo Pocket or my main Sony mirrorless, plug the card in and I can pick and choose to transfer over some quick edits on the iPad. A simple adapter, but a necessary one if you like to edit while on the move. Moving on to the other side now, I use the first slot as like a pencil case, storing every pen I need to draft ideas. That's where my hardcover comes in handy for big ideas, project planning, or larger thoughts I want organized. I jot it down in here. My main tool is the Pilot G-Tech C4 with its super fine 0.4mm tip for detailed lines. Then a thicker black felt tip for outlining, a red thick marker for contrast and highlighting marks, the same G-Tech C4 thin pen but in red for detailing as well, and this beauty, the Bic 4-in-1 3 pen colors and a mechanical pencil built in too. This set of pens allows me to quickly and easily dump my thoughts onto paper where I'll digitize it after I've organized them here, which shouldn't be confused with my mini notebook that's for on-the-go thoughts and lists that I'll store, which I will eventually expand on into my larger notebook too. It's a workflow that's worked for me and how I go from idea to actually creating. Then some final complementary accessories. This is the Bobino key clip with my Victorinox mini champ attached to it. I've shown this off before and many other small multi-tools, but I always come back to this little guy for how versatile such a small package can be. It's got a tool for every occasion packed in, and just because, there's even a pen built into the frame. What? Some of my favorites include the flashlight. Yes, a flashlight inside this little guy, bright enough to help me look for things in tiny spaces, a hook knife I use to open packages, a tiny knife that's more than enough for my needs, a screwdriver to tighten stubborn screws, my favorite tool, the scissors for all those damn loose ends, and there's even a mini cuticle pusher that can double as a shovel for when you need to dig a small hole. It's tiny, built like a tank, and has replaced every other tool I carry. Taking a look at the hook itself though, the Bobino key clip is great for bags that don't come with a key clip already, as this little piece of plastic clips on really securely to a flat edge. You're able to attach a key ring, cable, or anything that can be hung really, but I double whammy it as a pen stopper, flipping it around and setting it just right to keep my pens in place from sliding around the pocket. A simple solution to a messy problem. Then, since the mini champ does contain some hard metallic edges, I keep it away from the previous goods and clip it onto the inside so I always know where to grab it when I need it. Lastly, in the vast open front section, you gotta have your pills on you. Although these anti-stress pills are just really strong mints, I like to pretend my fresh breath helps me alleviate my stress, and it never actually works, but they still taste decent. Next, my Nivea cream because dry hands are the worst, and y'all know I got dry hands. And finally, my anxiety reliever, a pack of gum. My preference going to 5 gum because it actually feels like substance when chewed in your mouth. And that's the Dispatch waist bag. I love it for its flat design, but it also just moves so well around your body thanks to the quick release straps. The only downside is the lack of a top handle in my opinion. Not a deal breaker, as you can always hold it per style too. Now moving on to my weapons of creation, holstered onto my Low Pro Protactic utility belt is the Spiderlight by Spider holster. This chunk of metal allows the ball mount to slide down its chest and lock in place, allowing any camera it's attached to hang freely and securely. When connected to a belt, I can swiftly slide my camera in and walk around, do what I gotta do, and be hands-free, then quickly unmount my camera, take the shots I need, and well bam. Covering the camera itself though, a Peak Design shell camera cover. Made of a thick but flexible waterproof fabric, it protects your camera from the elements. There's 3 different sizes and can be adjusted for use on almost any DSLR or mirrorless lens combo. When stored, it keeps your back screen and buttons protected, and when you're ready to shoot, you can easily peel it over your peephole and take your shot. Then just as easily peel the foreskin back over and lock it in place. Not only does this act as a waterproof cover, it's also great to keep your gear scratch free. And what I like the most is how it almost hides your camera away, so you're not obviously carrying around thousands of dollars on your waist, because the only people that like show-offs are thieves. So hide your wife, hide your kids, and hide your damn camera too. Finally, taking a look at the belt itself, the Low Pro Protactic utility belt consists of full length of loops around it. This allows you to attach accessories like the Spiderlight holster, but really anything that can attach to a loop, like carabiners and mini pouches, but you can get pretty creative with it as well. I personally prefer a waist carry over a shoulder strap because 1, you don't have a strap to deal with, and 2, I've got some weak baby shoulders that get sore real quick when carrying a heavy camera on it. My love handles, however, have never complained. It offers full maneuverability when attached, doesn't jump around even when pacing in circles, and best off when seated, it doesn't get in the way and sits comfortably on your thigh. Anyways, that's my full carry when I head out to work remotely. Everything revolves around my iPad mini 5 as I can get all the work I need done outside of video editing. And yes, every accessory in this video I carry with me on a daily basis. So in your face, sucker!
Don't forget the first link down below for 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free, where you get access to all their classes, and it's only for the first 500 people. The rest of the links are below that for everything else I shared today. Let me know down below in the comments what your favorite piece was. I rest my case.